As pathologists, we are so often preoccupied with the mechanisms of disease that we rarely think about all of the mechanisms of what provides good health for us. And it may not be in your consciousness, but it will be this afternoon, that olive oil, particularly exquisite olive oil, can have a very positive medicinal effect, and that the antioxidant quality and the various attributes of purely produced and curated oil will have a very, very positive influence on one's health. I'm very excited to introduce to you this afternoon Armando Manni, who is the Chief Executive Officer of MANNI Oil. Armando is someone who's very dear to me. I've known him for very many years and have always admired his ingenuity, his imagination, and his energy. I want to tell you a little bit about him. For about 15 years, I was the vice chair of the Palm Springs International Film Festival, and my job was to curate Italian cinema. And I discovered a fantastic film from Italy called Elvis in Maryland that was directed by Armando. And it's a film that won the Golden Globe in Italy for Armando. It premiered at the Palm Springs International Film Festival just maybe a year or two after its release date in Italy in 1998. The production of this film, which was really shot in 4 languages and centered on a competition among people in Albania who were impersonating and could perform in the manner of Elvis Presley and Marilyn Monroe, to actually win a prize of being transported to Italy. It was a dream for the people in competition, and the movie itself was very complex, not only in the way it was imagined and shot, but the direction was obviously superb, and the multilingual, cross-cultural aspects of it were really quite fascinating. So the film had an excellent reception in Palm Springs. So for me, meeting Armando was the first evidence that he himself is a persona eclettica, or what we would call in America a Renaissance man. And as he evolved, he proved that to me over and over again. He acquired a tract of magnificent olive trees in Tuscany, adjacent to Angela Gaia's vineyards, with great Gaia productions of wine. And these trees are beautifully represented here, and actually became the resource for what is now MANNI Oil. Armando really loves his trees. And there's a really good reason for that, because the product is an amazing olive oil that in its early gestation was evaluated by the University of Florence Medical School as being the purest and most medicinally effective olive oil globally. And it got high ratings because of its antioxidant quality and all of the attributes that Armando will speak to you about. The beautiful packaging is part of the aesthetic design that Armando possesses. And this is the oil itself. It's more beautiful to me than liquid gold. And it has become valued by the best chefs in America and internationally. And the relationship that Armando now has with Thomas Keller at the French Laundry, where MANNI oil is the exclusive oil utilized for the French Laundry restaurant and also per se in New York, is a testimony to how valuable and how valued this oil is. It is featured in the book, 101 Things to Buy Before You Die. I think I'm at 105 with my acquisitions, but this is a really, really important asset to have this in the book and to be able to access the oil now internationally. Most recently, Armando began a relationship with Thomas Keller to produce a very fine chocolate utilizing the olive oil, and you'll hear a little bit more about that. But the production of K&M chocolate is very well known now, certainly in Napa, and has established an excellent reputation that parallels the oil itself. In addition to all of this Renaissance man has established the idea of a concierge boutique hotel, and this is Casa Manni in Rome. It's a small hotel. This is what the living room looks like. an incredible bathroom, but you get the idea that this is someone who possesses a terrific sense of design and imagination and transports that into everything that he does. So I think that you'll appreciate what he has to tell you about because he lives it, he tastes it, he experiences it. He has a joie de vivre that's really unsurpassable, and I'm just really excited to introduce you, Armando.
Thank you very much. So David is always too generous with me, no? And in fact, after the movie, I became a farmer. So this tells everything. So I'm very flattered to be here with you guys. And I apologize for my English, but I can ensure you that the oil that you're going to taste is much better than my English. So we prepare some screen, some shot, just to be able for you to follow the short conversation we are going to have, because I guess that the goal today should be, being you pathologist, transform your mouth in a sort of chemical laboratory that can tell you not if an oil is good or not, because good or bad is subjective, but if an oil is still extra virgin or not, because the extra virgin olive oil is the biggest fraud on the food market. Why? Because the law. So, as David was saying before, food is very important for our body, for our health. The answer was saying that the food is the first medicine we are taking, no? Because we are taking molecular or something that is creating energy, but is creating very complex process in our body. And we know also that Mediterranean diet is one of the healthiest diet in the world. Extra virgin olive oil is the heart of the Mediterranean diet. And we love extra virgin olive oil, but very few of us knows exactly what it is and how an extra virgin olive oil tastes, despite what you can read on a bottle. So for decades, I would say 30 years, the scientist has been thinking that the reason because the Mediterranean diet was so healthy, the reason because the result of the 5-country studies that was certifying that cancer in the Mediterranean countries like Italy or Greece or Spain, despite a high percentage of smokers, was so low compared to UK or USA, was related to the Mediterranean diet and was related also to the center of the diet, that is the extra virgin olive oil. So the fact that this country was using as a fat that is just monounsaturated fat, like the extra virgin olive oil, for them was the key to explain why our cancer, our heart disease in terms of percentage was so lower than UK or USA. So, and that's true, but in the last 20 years, the scientists discovered that the healthiness of the extra virgin olive oil is not just because the monounsaturated fat cells, but is due to the high quantity of antioxidant contained by the oil, and especially the polyphenols. So extra virgin olive oil is composed 95% by the monounsaturated fat cells. And they don't smell, they don't taste. The good taste, the good smell of an extra virgin oil is coming from a 5% that is called minor components. Most of them are polyphenols. So thanks to the quality and the quantity and the composition of the polyphenols, we can have different smell and different taste. But most important is the polyphenols are the natural preservative of the fat cell. They are the majority of the composition of the extra virgin olive oil. So we can say that extra virgin olive oil is a very healthy food, but at the same time, to be so healthy must be extra virgin at the moment of the intake. The trick And the legal trick all over in the world is when you buy a bottle labeled extra virgin olive oil, by the law, you are not buying an extra virgin olive oil, but you are buying an olive oil that at the moment of the pressing, because the olives has been pressed only mechanically, without using any chemical to extract the juice. And then this juice, at the analysis, was matching the chemical parameter that defined the commercial category extra virgin olive oil. And below that there is the virgin olive oil, and below that there is the Sansa oil. At that point, every olive oil maker has the right to print the label extra virgin olive oil. Like in the moment that we catch a fish in the ocean, in that moment, that fish is fresh. So, or in the moment that you squeeze your orange in the morning, you have a fresh orange juice. Now think that I'm obliging you to drink your orange juice 6 months later. It's totally oxidized. So the University of Davis here in California made a very interesting test in 2010, in July. They bought, not in supermarket, but only in gourmet stores. So we are talking about Dylan DeLuca, Williams-Sonoma. So the top gourmet stores, they bought something like under 80 bottles and made the analysis in June, considering that October or November is the pressing time. The result, as you can read, was that 86% of this expensive bottle labeled extra virgin olive oil was not anymore extra virgin, become virgin. Now, most of people think that virginity is a value, and especially for the oil. But it's not, because to decrease the commercial category, so to pass from extra virgin to virgin, this means that the natural preservative of the olive oil, the extra virgin olive oil, the polyphenols, are totally gone, because the polyphenols act like soldiers. They sacrifice themselves one by one in order to protect the fat cells from the oxidation. In the moment that they are gone, the extra virginity is gone, and you are in the virgin status. That is an oil that is good because it's monounsaturated cells, no fat cells, but doesn't contain antioxidants. They are the reason of the legend of the Mediterranean diet. Now, this is a story that I love to tell being a consumer, because if in June all the bottle, 86% of the bottles bought at the top gourmet store is not an extra virgin anymore, we can assume that 100% of the bottles in a supermarket labeled extra virgin olive oil is not containing extra virgin olive oil. So all this blah blah about health, about Mediterranean diet, is gone. And this is a very important point, because the way that the polyphenols act to protect the fat cells in the bottle of extra virgin oil is performed in our body. Why the extra virgin olive oil is so healthy for us? Because, as you know, being doctors, we need to have fat in our bloodstream. It's important. The problem is that in general now we have the bad cholesterol in the bloodstream and a low quantity of good cholesterol. But it's important to have fat in the bloodstream. The polyphenols in the moment of the intake of a real extra virgin olive oil are acting as a protector of the fat cells in the bloodstream from the attack of the free radicals that will make explode the fat cells, transforming in the foam that is going to reduce the, the diameter of the arteries, years by years and so on. So it's very important for all of us to consume extra virgin olive oil. And there are so many research now, these are some of them, but European community made a claim about the protection that the extra virgin olive oil is doing to the heart and the heart circulation. The same has been done by the FDA. So we know how the extra virgin olive oil could be healthy and good for us, but at the same time, unfortunately, we know that very few people have the chance to consume a real extra virgin olive oil. There are so many data, especially from Spain, of clinical trial that can show how much strong is prevention of the cancer thanks to the extra virgin olive oil. A lot. They don't understand yet how it works. One of the most interesting way to explain is this one, and came out in Nature, made by some scientists in Pennsylvania. And they discovered that one of the polyphenols that you are going to taste today, because your mouth will be able to detect this, the oleocanthal, is very close in terms of molecular of ibuprofen. And we know how much inflammatory process is affecting the development of cancer. So they are working on this, but they're still far away. So you can read here that we really are looking for extra virgin olive oil with a high quantity of polyphenols that must be still alive. This is one of the reasons because in our extra virgin olive oil we put argon, so inert gas that will protect the fat cells from the presence of oxygen. But oxygen is just one of the enemy, because we know that, as the scientist was saying, that the level of polyphenols drop step by step in order to protect the fat cells. But this fight is more difficult in presence of the three typical enemy of the extra virgin olive oil. The first is UV rays. So first tip, never buy a bottle that is contained in a transparent glass. When they sell this bottle, transparent, they are telling to you, look, you should buy this. It's so green. The professional glass of a taster of extra virgin olive oil is dark blue. The color in extra virgin olive oil doesn't mean anything in the same way the color in the hair of a woman doesn't mean anything. You will never know if it's true or not. And most of the people is putting chlorophyll. And by the way, if an oil is naturally very green, this means that there is a high presence of chlorophyll, and the chlorophyll for us is considered a sort of mud, will increase the natural oxidation process. But we don't pay any attention to the color of the oil. So buy only extra virgin olive oil in very dark bottle. And you can see here that the total polyphenols was reduced by 57 to 63% in 6 months in a bottle that was transparent. So then you have to understand that the oxidation is a sort of atomic reaction. In the moment it starts, you can't stop it. Same thing for the temperature. Where do you put your bottle of extra virgin olive oil? In the worst place you have in the house, normally close to the gas machine. So the kitchen is normally the hottest place, and being close to the gas machine is the worst of the worst. So you should store in a fresh place and use it. And most important, you should not use big bottles. I mean, from centuries, we have been drinking happily a bottle of wine that is 750 milliliters. Why? For centuries, we checked that even in my bad evening, drinking the whole bottle by myself, I would not be poisoned. Why they did the same for the oil? Business. Business. Because before the trade, the oil was a local family consumption. So you were having a big orch, terracotta with the oil, and every time you were taking the top, that is called affiorato, that means what is on top. That is, of course, always the best. So in the time, all the bad stuff of the oil was going down, down, down. So you were consuming always daily what was your need. Instead, after the Second World War, when the trade started to be consistent, they decided that the bottle should be 1 liter. But it's stupid, not crazy, stupid, it's criminal, because how long it takes for you to consume 1 liter of olive oil. And you have to think about the fact that when you open a bottle of wine, you know that the following day, the wine will be not as good as the moment that you open it. And so you are pressured to finish it. That's the reason because we drink. But you don't do the same with the extra virgin olive oil. You open it, and then it stays there, in the worst place in the house for a month. So, now, as I said, as a consumer, we can't know what we are consuming, what we are putting in our body. And food is not a jacket. So we have been, for decades, a lot of pressure by press regarding safe sex. There is no pressure about safe food. We are too many on the earth. It will be a problem in the next 30 years to feed all the people and to give water, so food and water. The poor people, in my opinion, it's just subjective, will die because the processed food, the industrial food, and the rich people, the people that can spend, will have a cashmere jacket and food with traceability. They want to know what they are putting in their body because all of us will be conscious and more conscious that what we are putting in our body is creating a reaction. So it's important to know what we are putting in the body, and that's the reason because being a pathologist, you will be transformed today in a laboratory, chemical laboratory. So because I know that we have a big party at 6 p.m., if it's okay with you, I would move. If there are no questions, if you have questions, please. Otherwise, we can go there and start to understand what does it mean extra virgin.